Hi, you kids and cadets. Welcome back to Tommy Time. Appreciate you coming out. Happy Sunday. Hopefully, you're relaxing. I'm doing a few projects today. I thought I'd give you a quickie quick. I'm in the full sunlight. It's midday. It's starting to heat up in Southwest Florida. So I'll probably go on to another project after this tank repair. You can see Mr. Rat is visiting us. This was a tank off of this Boland's that I just took in on trade. I went ahead and cleaned the carburetor and switched out the tank. This tank that was on, it had damage here and it had damage there. So we're going to rectify this thing right now. Leaking from there, and it's leaking from a small hole here. What I have to do the job is a little we're going to try Tertell today because I'm out of the Kafuter. So I did a video on this stuff. Somebody said that there's more metal and I think the Tertell than this Kafuter. But what these are just a two-part epoxy. You could also use Marine-tex, but this is like 20 bucks or more for a little white container. You can get it in gray or white. So you got a putty here, and then you have an activator in that glass tube. So this is kind of similar to Bondo, where you have a paste and then an activator. With the Kafuter, it's a two-part A and B compound. You got an A and you got a B. You mix equal parts of it. I take a popsicle stick. They give you a little piece of plastic here to do the job, but popsicle stick seems to work. So you put equal parts of this down on a piece of cardboard side by side, mix it up, and then goop it on. So here's one that I did before as a backup tank. And what I do is let it sit for a day once I put it on, and just spray paint it with some cheap Lowe's gloss black, because this stuff will come out in a gray color, so I paint to match. It's not going to look pretty, but it's not going to let any gas leak out or any water penetrate the tank if you're storing this outside. So I cleaned this thing up. I got it listed for $140. Oil change, sharpened the blade, cleaned the carb, and switched out the tank. Made it look all Lawrence Carroll, shiny. So when you're doing this two-part stuff, kind of eyeball how much you need to do your job, because remember, you're going to put half and half down. So you don't want to goop out a bunch of it and then have your mix go to waste if you don't use it. So let me grab a piece of cardboard here, which just blew off my table. We're going to mix them up. Like I said, this is going to be a quickie quick for Sunday. You can buy this stuff on Temu or AliExpress. I think I got both of these on AliExpress. So what I'm going to do to start is just take a razor, and where the Mr. Rat has gnawed up the plastic and made it kind of rough around the edges, I'm just going to take a razor and clean up the spots that are sticking up, so I have a smooth surface to work with. Once I'm satisfied that all the burrs are cut off, going to start mixing my junk. So I don't need a lot to fill in those two little holes. So I'm going to take the A, it doesn't matter what you start with, put a little track down, and then kind of mimic the B alongside of it. Take your popsicle stick and go to town. Oh, B's coming out kind of thick. This might be getting a little outdated, but we got some of the B out. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just eyeball it half and half. Okay, start mixing it up. Probably the B was getting a little hard. I haven't used it in a while, and probably air's getting into the tube, making it a little stiff. But once you get it into the A here, it seems to be softening up. So you can see the gray color. Just mix this up for a minute. A Florida minute versus a New York minute. A little more easygoing in Florida. Okay, I goop some on the popsicle stick. I'll go over here just to that one little hole. Just goop it on there, and I'll let that sit. You can sand this stuff after the fact, like the Marine-tex, which is sandable, hardens like steel, it says on the box, but I don't sand, I just spray paint over it. So I mixed up more than enough to cover up these two leaking parts. So let me get some more on the popsicle stick. This might just be enough. Yeah, perfect. I had washed these two areas off with soap and water because you can see all the dirt on this. I wanted a clean surface to start with. So soap and water, let it sit in the sun, dried off, and now we're gooping it up. There's a little bit of plastic gnawing there that I didn't cut off, so that's giving me an issue trying to fill around that spot that's sticking up. If I had smoothed it down, I could have just filled it in. Now I got to deal with that little burr. Once I'm confident the whole area is covered, I'm pretty confident we got all the spots filled in. I'll just leave this for 24 hours and then spray paint it. So this stuff's kind of cheap and it comes in handy, especially with these gas tanks, or if you've got to seal anything else that's plastic. You could probably use it on steel or aluminum. The instructions are in Chinese, and I don't understand a word of this. I just see Celsius 15 to 200 degrees Celsius is probably the operating range. But there you go. There's Tertell. And then Kafuter. Like I said in one of my older videos, guy says I think the turtle has more metal in it than the Kafuter. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Mr. Rat's gonna keep an eye on the tank so nothing happens to it while it's drying in the sun. I'm gonna go on to another project. Appreciate you coming out. Have a good Sunday. Tip your waitress and wait staff if you're out and about. This is my gas tank sealing solution video. If you've got a rat damaged tank, there's a couple ways you can go about it. I like this stuff because it hardens hard. Marine-tex will harden hard. I wouldn't use any RTV silicone on it because the gas splashing up into the hole is just going to soften the RTV. This stuff here hardens solid. I've never had any leaking when I've messed with the AB compound stuff. Okay, thanks. Thanks for coming out. Have a good rest of your day. I'll throw some more at you this week. We'll look at some other junk. Adios, amigos.